So we got this message this morning. Sean won't be able to lead. So we can take up the slack here. So it seems like this chapter is talking about the different types of surveys. So we've learned that when you come to a website, that actually what happens is that a lot of times we've heard you get the free bribe, and the bribe is like a PDF, 10 steps on how to do this or 10 steps on how to do that, and in exchange for an email. But what he's saying is that you don't ask for the email right away, which I thought was pretty interesting. Did anybody find that part interesting right there, that you don't give something? Why did you find that interesting?
Because it's not like everything else everybody's saying. Everybody's saying, hey, you have to capture the emails right away as soon as they opt in and lead to the sales page. But I do like this approach as well, because it helps you to sort out people, to customize what they want.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be honest though, because I thought, like, if somebody is just coming to your site, the first thing I thought about was, like, if you start asking them questions right away, I felt like, oh, that could be kind of annoying sometimes, kind of thing. But so I kind of had to warm up to this method now, where I'm thinking, like, well, you don't ask the questions, because are you guys reluctant to give out your email address?
Yeah, no.
No?
No.
No, not really.
It's just an email.
I don't like it. I would rather, I think, answer questions to see if they got something for me than just give them my email address, because my email address is like, I don't give it to many places, because I know I'm going to be bombarded with something.
Ah, okay. Yeah. What Dana just joined. Dana, are you reluctant to kind of give out your email address to just anyone?
Like stores and stuff like that?
Well, no, like in this chapter, he's saying that usually what we've learned is that in marketing, when someone first comes to your site, you give them a bribe. You say 10 steps on how to sell your home today or something like that. Say, okay, I want that. And then they give you your email address in exchange for that. But he's saying,
I'm not reluctant for stuff like that, for stuff that I seek out.
Ah, for stuff you seek out. Okay, I got it. All right. So what he actually, and you guys can jump in on this anytime you want here, what he seems like he's asking for is a list of surveys, different types of surveys that you ask, and this is kind of his funnel. Now, Chuck, many of you guys have the book. Do you have the name of those surveys?
Yes.
I know one is the deep dive survey, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Pat's got it. You can say.
It's the deep dive survey, the micro commitment bucket survey, the do you hate me survey, and the pivot survey. And these four surveys and the four big questions they represent are foundational to the Ask formula, because they are the key to finding out exactly what the customers want to buy. If you don't know what the customers want, or assume you know what they want, there might be a mismatch between how you're positioning your product and what the market really wants.
All right. So what I'm going to try to do is to go over each survey. Does it give an example of each survey in the, like let's start with the deep dive.
Yes.
All right. Diving deep. So I take it just by the name itself, that's getting to know the individual. Maybe. All right. Can you guys read some questions for the deep dive, if you don't mind?
One of them is to just simply ask people what their greatest challenge is, and whatever it is that pertains to what you're talking about. And then a few additional questions, then use that information to figure out who the customer is.
One thing about the deep dive survey, it says it's the foundational survey on which everything else depends. Without this survey, all others fail. This survey collects open-ended data that you'll use to better understand your market in a deep way.
Right.
And this
Yeah.
open-ended survey is a survey you conduct once before you build out your online sales funnel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I see here a question, and this is an example of a deep dive survey, and it says, what's your number one single biggest health and or fitness challenge right now?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I don't know, like I would say for me, I would say having a, like, I know exactly what I need to eat. So when I go to the grocery store, instead of saying, I'm going to eat this at this time, this at this time, this at this time, I say, okay, I know the kind of food that I need. So I'm just going to buy that food and then just put it together. So have a detailed plan. So that's probably how I would answer that question. But based on the way I would answer that question is that would give him information of, okay, he needs this product, on how to have a detailed plan for, you know, every day, to know what you're going to eat at every minute of the day, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I gave him the information. So that's an example of a deep dive survey question. Could anyone try to just guess one here if in your niche?
I think that's really cool because, you know, you might be thinking that, oh, you know, everybody's got a problem with time. You know, they don't have enough time to work out, but then it might turn out that the problem is for most of the people that are on your list that, you know, they need to come up with a menu for the week.
Yeah.
So if everything you're talking about is how to make time for working out, then you're barking up the wrong tree because that's not the problem they're having.
Bark.
Yeah. And what I just told him was one of the problems that people have with fitness, and I'm one of those people, is that Abdul doesn't know exactly what he needs to have when he go to the grocery store.
You
So
need to
let
have
me
a menu for the week.
exactly. So maybe if he had something like that already created, he could send that to me, or he could say, you know what, we need to create a menu for the week for these guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's use an example in your business, Veronica. What it could be a deep dive question.
Okay, it could be I think for my fur business it could be something about learning, like if the person have any events coming up or something like that, because you know, there are people that shopping for casual just for their pleasures things, you know, like furs, but there are a lot of winter brides. My winter brides are my main customers. So something probably like, are you excited about your event, or, you know, something like, do you have any event, you know, coming up or something like that? I'll have to brainstorm on this one actually.
But that's good though, because it will help us figure out some of the questions that we need to ask so we can put everybody in that certain type of box.
Yeah, and for another one, probably about the travel. Not even so much about the finding like possible mate, but about the travel, either about the travel or about relationship challenge. So it would be a challenge for me to actually sit down and write the good question for the customers.
Yeah. All right, let's pass it around then. Chuck, what would be a good question that you could ask maybe in the real estate niche deep dive?
Oh, you know, that obviously it's going to be, you know, what's your biggest fear about selling your house? Or, you know, what's the biggest problem that you face? Because these are supposed to be open-ended and very general.
And see, that's interesting, because I can answer that question, because I'm going through that process now. I can ask that question. It's emotions, like, you know, when everyone comes in your home and say, oh my gosh, your home is so nice. And, you know, it's funny because someone just asked me, is that a sign that we shouldn't sell our home? Because now all of a sudden the emotions come in and you think, like,
well, I have a question.
Yeah.
Why are you even there when they're there?
Yeah, you're not supposed to
You're
be
not
there.
supposed to be there. When they're looking at the house, why are you?
Oh, no.
No, like
not
friends
those
and
people.
stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah,
friends
not
and
those
stuff.
people.
Yeah, you need
Yeah. Not like
your realtor.
Yeah.
He's the greeter.
Like, hey, come on in, guys.
Yeah, right.
Come on in. No. But no, so it just takes you through the emotions like, should you sell it? But you think like, to hell with that thinking, because that's all emotional. Emotion can blind you.
Fall in love
But
is
that,
all over again. Lol.
you said what now?
I'm saying you fall in love with it all over again now when you.
I
Yeah,
bought this house, and when I saw the price of this house, I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I'll buy it.
Yeah. Come on down whenever you're ready.
I know, but it's too
But no, I'm just saying that question can open up a lot of questions that a lot of people wouldn't know. So I can see how that's a deep question. So like, Dana, you're in the same niche. Is that the same question you would ask your niche?
I think she might have stepped away.
Oh, okay. Yolanda, what about you?
Yeah,
She's back.
Dana's
Oh, she's
back.
back.
Dana, what would be your
Dana.
open-ended question?
Dana, you're on mute, baby.
I don't know what my question would be. I think it would be different for each, avatar or whatever. So I think that for sellers, it'd probably just be like, what's your biggest fear of selling? Or for buyers, like maybe something like, what's holding you back from taking the next step?
Yeah.
Mhm.
See, and it's so funny about not funny, but it's so interesting about the deep dive. It's a big question that can where you can actually spit out many different answers. I mean, I guess the question for me is, why are you afraid to take the leap to follow your passion? That question right there could give you multiple answers. Maybe some people may say, because of finance, I feel like maybe I'm a hippie if I go do my, try to go after my passion, or maybe I'm afraid.
That's a leading question, though, because you're assuming that they're afraid.
Yeah, you have to have it open-ended.
Okay, we'll throw me something, whatever. Let me
Why don't you?
dive deep with that.
Well, to use Dana's question, what's keeping you from going the next step in your life?
Yeah. Without judgment. Okay.
Yeah, what's keeping you from doing it?
Yeah.
And
That
then
is a good
you
question.
can do that deep dive survey with the survey gizmo that he's got. You want to put it in the chat? So people can look at it.
All right. Yeah.
What keeps you from sleeping in the morning?
Let's pull it up.
Mama and book club.
Yeah.
What's the address?
HTTP.
Type that.
www.formula.com.
Oh, so he has this survey. Okay, that's what you're saying. What's keeping you from?
What keeping you from a good night's sleep? Oh.
What about you, Terrell?
Well, I was thinking mine would be, what things do you do every day that help keep you and your family safer? What are some things you're doing? Because I want to presume that they are doing some things, like they lock my doors every day. I always pay attention when I'm getting in and out of my car. I mean, something.
That's a good question.
Well,
Village people do nothing, I can tell you that.
No.
what, honey?
Village people, meaning suburb people do nothing.
Yeah.
Did you just call them village people?
Yeah.
You mean like South Dakota people?
No, I call it my village. No.
I thought about Borat when you said that, when you said like village people. I'm thinking like Borat going to his old village in Kazakhstan or something, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, but it's funny because you can also then see if the people, because I know that urban people do more because there is more going on. They kind of better lock the doors and stuff.
Yeah. That's another thing I remember when I was down south. Oh my gosh, all the convenience stores have bars on them. It's like you're literally walking into a prison every time you walk into a store.
Mm-hmm. When I came to US and it was winter and you would go to the store to buy something, it's so cold here that people leave their car running open and running So
Yeah.
in the color, I was like, oh my God. In my country, this car would be like long time gone.
Oh my gosh. Yolanda, are you there?
Yes, I am.
What would your question be for your niche?
Probably, why do you drink coffee? Is it to wake up? Is it socially? Is it for the caffeine?
Mm.
The next question would be, how often do you drink coffee each day?
Every day for lots of reasons, over and
Yeah.
over.
And after you answer that first question, I'll ask you, how often daily do you drink coffee?
You know, I have to say with the coffee thing, so you guys know I'm kind of like a geek when it comes to the daily routine thing. And I'm finding out some of these guys who actually, for their work routines, how much coffee they actually drink. And I'm just like, holy, like one guy, I think it was Beethoven who actually went with 26 coffee beans in his coffee cup. But one guy was like up to 50. I'm just like, that is insane. So did you guys have something pulled up, Chuck?
Well, this very interesting thing about this whole thing with askformula.com.
Yeah. Has anybody in here tried to go to any of the addresses in his book?
Oh, he probably made a mistake and probably lost his.
This
No.
this is more sinister than that. There's some other dude that wrote a book called The Asking Formula,
Mhm.
and he has somehow got it so
He
that
hacked it.
you type any of these addresses, it goes to his book
Goes to his site.
and not this book.
No. What I mean is, what happened is, like, you know how, like, you guys have a web domain now?
Mhm.
Maybe you forgot to pay it or something, whatever, right? And then someone came in behind you and snatched it up and then put all the information in there, which is
Oh, wow.
what a lot of people do. So you have to make
Yeah.
sure that you.
So his actual website is Ask Method, not
Not ask formula.
Oh, that's probably what happened.
because this other dude snagged Ask Formula. So you type in
Everything.
anything that's in this book, it goes to the other guy's book.
Do
Well,
you
you
cut
know-
and paste it in the browser? You just cut and paste it in the browser? That's what I did. That's the only way I could find that bonus page, but I still had to look.
Yeah, Ryan Levesque lost his website, I think.
Oh my God, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Why? Because
Carol, the bonus page with all those questions is also on the very forefront of his page on the bottom. I
Oh.
went today.
okay, okay.
Axmethod.com. And if you
Oh,
scroll
it is ask method. Okay. It's
Okay,
not
ask
ask
method.
formula though.
Yeah,
No, I just said that.
Yeah.
that's where that example where you heard Dana say the guy sold a website for $2 million.
Yeah.
That's when he said, you know what? My book says this, so let me just go ahead and use that. So maybe he needs to update his book.
Yeah, but that other guy, man, that's
cheesy.
cheesy. That's being an opportunist, you know.
It happens all the time, though. A lot of times
It happens all the time.
it expires and say, hey, if you want it back.
John Baker.
But John Baker, man, that's pretty lame. Oh, I'm gonna take advantage of that and write a book called The Asking Method
here,
Asking formula.
or whatever the hell it is.
a multi-million-dollar business surrounding domain names.
Yep,
I know.
I agree.
Yeah, well, John Baker isn't going to be like, we're going to go see him. Oh, yeah, because you have asking formula. Oh, let me go see you now.
Yeah, let me tell you how to be a cyber squatter.
Oh, good.
All right. So the deep dive, we talked about that. All right. What is another formula? Or did you guys want?
The micro commitment bucket survey. So it says after you've done your homework using the deep dive survey, the results are used to design your micro commitment bucket survey, which becomes a permanent part of your online sales funnel. So this survey is called what it is because you're using it to ask people a series of small, non-threatening multiple choice questions prior to asking more pointed and private questions like, what's your name and email? Hence the micro commitment part.
Yeah.
You're using the answers to those questions to put people into different buckets so you can customize your marketing, sales message, and the products you introduce to each customer based on what the bucket or group they fall into, hence the bucket part.
So he's asking for that email, the second question, it seems like.
Yes.
First question is the deep dive. Yeah, okay.
Right. And then when you start by asking a few simple multiple choice questions that are far less threatening and personal, it builds action-taking momentum towards that final step of entering their name and email.
And the reason behind that is because once he asks you the deep dive question, now he knows what bucket to put you in. So when you give him the email, now he can put you in that bucket. That's what it seems like he's going with that.
Right. And secondly, the answers to the multiple choice questions are data that you will capture when your prospects provide their name and email and opt into your email list. You'll be able to later use this information to not only customize your marketing messaging, but to also customize the offers you might introduce to that prospect. So it's a win-win for both you and the prospective customer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My understanding is that the information that you glean from that deep dive survey is going to dictate what these other surveys are asking.
Yeah, remember what they said about the deep dive. It's the foundational survey on which everything else depends. We just got to keep remembering that.
Yeah, the deep dive is very important.
Because we don't write any of this other stuff until after we've got the information off of the deep dive survey. And then we create all these other questions.
And it says, by being able to hyper-target, you ensure that only prospects who are a good potential fit are exposed to your offers, of course.
Yeah.
So I know the first question that you need to ask with the deep dive, but does anyone have an example of like multiple questions that you can ask with the deep dive? I'm trying to see.
Can they be based on the first question, on the answers? Like, for example, the person says, yes, I am that. Can some questions come out because of the person's answer?
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Like
I'll give you an example on that pilot training course guy. On one of his questions, do you have a pilot's license?
Mm-hmm.
Now, where was that question at, Chuck? Was that when you first came to the website?
That was one of, I think the first email I got from him was just, hey, I want to send some stuff that would be of interest to you. So, let me ask you a couple questions. And one of them, do you have a pilot's license? So my answer is no. And so he's like, okay, great. Then you're somebody that wants to get a pilot's license. But if I did answer yes, then he would ask me what kind of pilot's license I have.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had, my instrument rating, well, the next step would be a commercial. So then he'd start sending me information about his commercial pilot license course.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
he needs to know where I am because, if I've already got a certain level of license, then any license below that would be of zero interest to me.
Yes. Uh-huh.
But with Ryan, I think he would ask all those questions in the beginning in the survey. Like as soon as you get to a site. I don't know.
Deep dive though.
Oh, not in the deep dive?
No, the deep dive is big, general, open-ended question or questions.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So I'll tell you what, and this is just my understanding of it. So I could be mistaken, but this relates back. Do you remember on Russell Brunson, before you even make your perfect webinar and before you even write the course, you send an email out asking everybody, hey, what's your biggest problem with whatever?
Yep.
And then the answers to that is what dictates the course and dictates everything that's on the perfect webinar.
Yeah, and that would be
So
really
this is the same thing.
Ah.
It's the same thing. This is, you send this thing out, and that's what gives you the information to create everything else.
Yeah.
Right. Abdul, you're thinking that it's because of the name of it that you have to get deep and detailed with the questions because it's called the deep dive. But it's just to get started, as far as my understanding also, Chuck. It's just to get started. So for example, I would ask you, how often do you drink coffee? And if you say 3 times a day, I know exactly what to send you and where to tell you to go. If you say once every 3 days, then I know exactly what to start doing.
Yeah, you say,
And
I don't drink coffee.
Begins, actually.
Yeah, if someone says, I don't drink coffee,
I'll say, get off my page and go buy some hot chocolate. I'm just kidding.
Well, no, then you'd sell them some hot chocolate, right?
Right.
Well-
It'll be tea or chocolate. Hot
Yeah.
chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah, you switch gears and yeah.
Let me,
The actual dive don't start till after you get the first open-ended question answered.
Yeah.
all right, let me show you guys something here. All right, so this is under Survey Gizmo, so Survey Monkey. So this was a deep dive survey. I already answered the first question, which I read here. So basically, that first question I answered saying, yeah, I think I said something about I'm tired or something. But anyways, the second question was, which of the following best describes you? I just say healthy and fit. And then it's continuously asking me questions. What is your number one source of information on health and fitness? Please specify it. I just say YouTube. What do you most dislike about the health fitness industry? I just say supplements.
I thought you'd say other people.
Humans.
I
That-
thought for
that would
sure you were
always-
going to say humans.
I
That
know.
would always be the answer for Abdul. Other people.
Other people.
People, they are everywhere.
Yeah.
But see, what it's doing is asking me, it's not just asking one question, it's asking multiple questions with the survey.
Abdul, 90% of the people will never keep answering questions unless that thing asks you, do you have a few moments to take a survey?
Yeah. And see, that's
I
what
would
I'm,
not keep going and going and going. I'll be like, the hell with this. I don't care no more. And move on.
especially when you first come to a site.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know how many minutes it's going to take.
Well, let me just
Those
see
kind
here.
of questions, the survey you're going through is something you ask at the end. Like when you're hanging up with Verizon, they'll say, do you have a minute to take a few minutes to take a brief survey? And that's what you're on, because I tell them yes or no. And if I say yes and it keeps going and going, I still hang up.
Now
Yeah.
you say like, hell no.
But what it's doing though, as I'm going through it, is like you just asked me, what is my gender? I said my gender is male.
I'm
So-
glad they only had 2 options here.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. It's probably an old survey.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Yeah,
So
how dare they?
after I asked all those questions, right at the end, here it is where it's asking for my email. Right at the end, question number 9. And I'm not saying that that's definitely a good method, but that's just an example of a deep dive survey.
Can
So
you put his promise back up there?
What did you say, Tara?
Would you put his promise back up there? He said, and I promise not to, that wording that you just had up on the screen.
Oh, right here. What did he say?
Oh, I was just going to read the end of it. Promise not to try to call you.
Sell you.
Mailbox. I'd like to get a shout out when I was, oh, cool. I like the way he says it. I mean, it's very, he sounds authentic. Yeah.
But it's not true.
Yeah.
So when you go to CVS to get your blood pressure done or anything at their care clinic or whatever they call it,
Yeah.
you sit down and you put your hand in the cuff and you do all of those different things, and then they say, to get your reading, type in your email.
Do they
Yeah,
really?
I hate that. I hate that. And I always go away from those pages. That makes me so mad.
Because they can mislead you a little bit.
I don't like it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
So
good.
let me ask a question. So let's say if you asked those 9 questions and it was set up like that, would you guys move away from that site? Or would
Yeah.
you actually answer those questions?
I wouldn't. Not if it's something I sought out, maybe, a strong maybe, but I don't, that's too much information just to be getting started. I haven't even gotten to know you yet.
Be like fu@fu.com.
Okay. So what is
You're
the
bad.
what is the next?
I'm
What is the
tired
next-
this morning. I'm tired and cranky.
Yeah, he's pretty mean.
Yeah, welcome to my world.
What's the
Mm.
Woke up crabby today.
what's the
Yeah,
next
welcome to
survey?
my world.
Go ahead, Abdul. What were you asking?
What's the next survey? So I know we had the deep dive, we had the micro commitment, There's a total of 4. What was the next one?
Oh, hang on, I'm looking.
Yeah, Chuck, save us.
It's the Do You Hate Me survey and the Pivot survey.
Yeah.
All right. So read the Do You Hate Me, please?
This sounds a bit radical, and it is. This is a survey you send by email to everyone who has entered into your email follow-up system, but who has not bought from you after you've presented people with the absolute best deal, price, or promotion you can offer. This survey goes out non-buyers by email to figure out why they haven't bought from you. The strong title of this survey, which gets its name from the email subject I often use when emailing this survey, is designed to get people's attention. However, with such a strong title, you should always make the content of this email lighthearted and even a bit funny. It should ask something like, what's the single biggest reason why you've decided not to work with me or purchase the XYZ product? Was it something I said, something I didn't say, or do you just hate me? Click on this link to let me know.
All right. So here's an example of one. Why didn't you buy a hearing aid from us? And then it gives some suggestions. Your hearing aids are way too expensive.
To read.
You don't have a real easy payment plan. I am not sure about your 100% money back guarantee. You know, it is definitely too much to read, but maybe these options that they have.
It looks ugly. That's why I didn't buy it. No, just kidding.
But let's say, I don't know, I'm just going to pick one. You don't have a real easy payment plan. Done. But I'm noticing this is Survey Monkey.
Yeah.
A lot of these questions are. So maybe if you answer that, you know, you don't have a good enough payment plan, maybe they may come back with, here's another option.
Or easy way to pay, or yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be hearing about an easy payment plan coming up here pretty quick, I imagine.
Yeah. So you said with that one, it was too many questions.
I thought it was.
He doesn't like a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Probably 5 is the maximum for him.
I think 3 is.
Right. I'll be answering none of your damn business. Like, that's what I'll be saying to my computer. Listen, you guys, let me say this. Going through this kind of stuff, and for me, it started with .com Secret. It actually started with eMyth Revisited, but .com Secrets really, really got into it. It's hard for anybody to sell me anything right now. It's so hard.
Well,
you would be a tough customer.
Let's dive deep with
Sorry,
that.
Chuck. I already apologized to you and Pat. Sorry.
Let's dive deep with that. Why is it hard?
Because I see the gimmick. I see the...
Yeah.
Very skeptical.
I see the... I'm not skeptical. I just don't want to be sold. I'm like, I like your product. Give it to me.
Yolanda.
I like it, but like you know what I appreciate more now? It's the places that don't have sales and don't have discounts.
Because you know the time limited offer is a manipulation, basically.
Right.
That's why I go to thrift stores.
So I just figured out the strategy for Yolanda. You just like, hey, Yolanda, I don't care if you buy this or not.
There you go. Take away that.
Well, if someone says that to me, I'll be like, good. I won't be buying it since you don't care.
Oh,
What-
man.
What is
now
it?
I'm on you.
What is the last thing you bought, Yolanda? Online.
Why do you hate other people?
Getting like Abdul.
You didn't like Abdul.
Oh my God.
Abdul's rubbing off on you.
Look, I don't know. I haven't bought anything in a long time.
Yeah, I see that.
Wow. CJ, do you hear that? Is that
He's not here.
really true?
He's
No, I
not-
need to
he's
ask
not here.
CJ for a backup. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, ask him. I haven't bought anything.
But the thing is, you know, it's definitely not going to work with every person.
Yeah.
But the whole meaning behind the surveys is to get more information. That way you're not talking like a guy that's telling me about how to get your Facebook account,
Yeah.
Oh, leave him alone. Leave him alone.
But it's the truth though. It's just like he's not talking to me. But if he would have asked the survey of like, well, maybe I need to learn how to construct a better Facebook ad, that's the question I need answered.
Yeah.
And if he had a program on that, I probably would pull out the credit card and buy it.
It's customization. I think that customizing is very important because
But Abdul, you can. Sorry, Veronica. So sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say that I think that customizing is really important because it's sometimes almost annoying when you way past that stage, somebody asking you like at the beginner level on something, or like if somebody would ask you, do you need help to open an Etsy shop? You know, something I would check out because I'm like, no, this is too of a beginner. I need to know how to make it on the next level, but I don't need to know how to open it. So I think it's kind of a good customization to see who do you have, rather than one fit all.
I like the way the pilot guy approached his, where he just was really upfront about it. Say, hey, look, you know, I don't want to send you stuff that you don't care about. So, you know, if you don't mind letting me know, then I'll send you stuff that's of more interest to you.
And you have to answer those questions.
Yeah, so he's being real upfront about it, just saying, hey, look, you know, I don't want to waste your time. Don't want to waste my time.
Yeah.
Tell me where you're at, and I'll send you stuff that applies to you.
Right. So he found out whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced right away, and you didn't have to answer 7 or 9 questions like that survey Abdul was just on. And I think that's key and important. And for me, like I said, if I ask you how many times per day you drink coffee, I would already know where you're at.
Don't
Or why do you drink coffee? Is it to wake up? Is it socially? Is it a habit? You know, all of those different things. I know if I just ask you 2 questions, I can tell you.
None of your damn business.
Don't ask me. Don't ask me.
9.
I drink it like 2 times a day.
What is that, CJ?
Yoli?
Babe, go back on mute.
I drink it just to get next to you.
Go back on mute, honey. One of the questions they asked while you were gone, babe, was what was the last thing I bought online?
Or anytime.
Tell us the truth, CJ.
Tara, you're on mute, Tara.
So sorry. I haven't had enough coffee.
See, there you go with your coffee.
Well, how often do you drink coffee?
What did Yolanda say was the last thing she bought online?
I didn't have an answer. I couldn't remember. I have the shopping bug, but I can't go shopping, so.
She doesn't trust the internet.
I know it's not a purse.
Not hers.
Because she
It
got rid
was
of all
something
the
on Amazon.
I did what on Amazon?
It was something you bought on Amazon. I can't remember now.
Well, one thing I can say is that SurveyMonkey seems like they probably have deep dive, micro commitment, all these types of surveys inside their system. Because if you type on Google, they actually have those surveys called that. So that probably will be a good service to use if you were trying to put these questions together.
I like SurveyMonkey a lot.
Oh, you do? Okay. All right. So what I'm hearing now is you can't ask too many questions, like the hearing aids. You can't have 10 different choices. That's just annoying. Maybe 5 at the most. And then also in the deep dive, what I hear from you guys is that don't ask all those questions in the beginning. Maybe just ask one open-ended question in the beginning.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
So Abdul, think about it. Let's go with you. You chose one of the things you dislike about the health industry is supplements, right?
Yeah.
So when you go to GNC or Walmart, for that matter, or Walgreens, anywhere that sells supplements, there is a minimum of 5 different types of iron, 5 different types of protein, 5 different types of whey. How do you know which one to choose? That's frustrating.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey,
And every associate you talk to will give you their favorite.
You know, Pat just pointed out there's an entire chapter that goes deep on the deep dive.
Okay, so it's coming up.
So
Yeah,
It's amazing how he broke this book out.
I think we'll start to understand it better as it.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what
chapter
we're gonna do.
13 is totally
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
dedicated to that.
Okay. Okay.
And then, wow. Okay.
I really like the mastermind example, guys, because when he was
Yeah.
talking about his mastermind, how he couldn't understand, why more people not signing, and then he realized it's not really mentioned that he is himself on the live calls, that he bring in guests, and he give all this value, and it's a high level group, and even what's striking me is that even guys on such a high level can have these imperfections of not really giving the full light on what's going on in the group, that more people will see value in it. So, and I can definitely relate. I mean, I don't have a mastermind group like that, but I have my VIP club, and I think that I'm shy. I don't want to sound salesy when I make my video, because and I know that I'm wrong, but I have this thing where I don't really tell people all the benefits they would get if they join my group, because I have 15 members in my group, and they don't want to go anywhere, and it's been a while.
Well, what you could do is just create one video for that, and then just maybe have something flashing saying check out the group, and then when they click on that link, they could see all what your group is about without you actually going into detail and saying what it's about.
Yeah, or I can just say what I do in there more often, because we discuss some things and plan travels and do all kinds of things in there. And I just met half of my members in person, so I should really talk about these things.
Ryan even says in the book, I forwarded this feedback to my team, and I told them we need to make the benefits of the mastermind group more prominent in our sales letter. I also followed up to my email list with a FAQ email detailing what we offered in the mastermind group. Bingo, we received a flood of new members. Once again, it proved to me that this kind of surveying, simply asking, gives you the ability to dial in your marketing. And I think that we all have to kind of think about, including myself in this, is we need to make sure that people understand our message. Do we really get our message across?
That's right, Pat. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you look at Ryan's site, it doesn't look like it's up to date or anything like that. It looks like maybe some old faded colors from my perspective. But that doesn't mean that his message doesn't get out there, because he actually has that free book model, which a lot of people think it's a free book, but really they're paying for the shipping and handling. So he's using his book and referrals and things of that nature to get his message out there. So it's still reaching millions of people. So it's definitely effective. Like, he just shows how you can take a book and use it to sell other things.
The colors faded on the internet?
Well, what I mean, like, compared to like, it seems like websites change all the time. But when you look at his website, you don't think like, wow, that's a nice website, which really doesn't really have to be. But I mean, it doesn't look like something that Russell Brunson would have or something like that. I don't get that from that website.
It was a good question, Ilana. I was thinking the same thing, like colors faded online on the website.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything you said after that, because that's what
Yeah, it looks like a old maroon to me, whatever cat. That's my perspective. Yeah.
It looks like something to me from the 90s.
Yeah, like it's definitely not up to date compared to all the.
No, not even. Maybe something from early 2000. It looks like something that was the first website that we did for.
Everyone's an art director.
Like for the first company that that I owned with my ex-husband.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe he's trying to set himself apart from all those other guys.
That's what it looks like. It looks like the old Millennium Receivable Solutions website. It does.
And what was the last survey? So deep dive, micro commitment.
The pivot survey.
Pivot survey.
Last one.
Did you guys want to read that one?
Sure. And this is the final survey in the sequence, also sent out by email. This survey is used after you've done your best job selling your product and the customer simply isn't buying anything you're selling. Even after all the surveys, all the emails, and all the dialed-in marketing. But all is not lost. In this email survey, you say something like, hey, listen, I know you're not really interested in what we've been talking about. So which of the following options would you like me to talk about next? Would you like to know about topic A or perhaps topic B or maybe even topic C? What you're really asking is, what do you want me to try to sell you next? You didn't buy this program, but what might you be interested in instead? This survey is a fantastic tool to employ when you have changed the offer, sent email after email, and just can't get any movement from your prospect. Usually, if your prospect's response to your pivot survey email, they eventually will buy, and you will, without a doubt, increase your conversions. The pivot survey is usually a series of links embedded directly into an email. Typically, you'll use your email follow-up system either through automation links or by setting up different email opt-in forms to move or add people to different email lists, depending on which option they express interest in. We'll cover this in more detail in the coming chapters. These 4 surveys collectively form the foundation because together they take all the guesswork out of your marketing, and that is the whole point. How do you succeed in market after market with nearly 100%? You take out all the guesswork.
Yeah. And see now that he said that, now I see, like, so when you go through your email campaign, you set up maybe your deep dive survey, those questions. Then when they get past that method, if they haven't bought anything, then next you move on to that would make sense. I have to think about that more because it seems like this is the last stand right here. Like if nobody's buying and something like this, it says the top 10 questions came from a French series. Whatever that is.
But Abdul, why would we wait till the end to do that? And because I think if you do this up front, you'll get more specific people to each. Let's say you have 3. So my 3 would be would you be more interested in how to make gourmet coffee at home, or how to start your own mobile coffee catering service, or how to host a coffee bar at your next event? Like those would be 3, right? Why wouldn't I ask that up front instead of waiting till you don't buy anything to ask those questions?
Oh, you're saying when a person first comes to your site, you should ask those questions? Because
listen, if I'm not interested, I'm not going to read your email to even get these questions. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, so you would go back to that where he asked those questions right in the beginning, like with the deep dive survey. But he asked, the problem was that he asked 9 instead of like 3.
Yeah, no, not 9. No, look, for me personally, not 9. Never that. No. But why wouldn't I ask those questions up front? And I'm just I'm not the expert and I don't know what he knows for sure. But
yeah,
why wouldn't I ask those questions up front so I can better serve them in the beginning instead of me waiting to see if they buy whatever I'm selling first? And if they don't, because if I decided I'm not interested, I don't care how many additional emails I get from you, I'm not clicking.
See, and I'm like you, Yolanda. I think that when a person first comes to your site, that's the ideal time to get them, because for them to come back with all these distractions and everything we have in the world is probably highly unlikely. And I would ask those questions right in the beginning. Why have you? Like, what is your passion? Boom. Here's a list of questions. Give me your email. Here's the product I have for $1 or $7 right away. So I'm going to go just ask a few of these pivoting questions. What is your favorite word? They're talking about a French program. What is your least?
How any of these questions here help market something? I really don't. I'm having to approach this with a real open mind because I'm kind of.
We don't know anything about culture.
My favorite word is shit.
I'm in Yolanda territory now.
Well, keep in mind too that this is a person that is searching for whatever this is. Yeah. So the 10 questions. So of course this wouldn't mean much to you, but to someone who is actually searching for that term, how you say bouillon, culture, or whatever that is, that these things are going to mean a lot to them in this pivotal questionnaire. But you're right. For you, it's definitely going over your head. It's just like, I don't even know what this is all about. But for that person, they're like, oh God, boom, boom, boom. They'll probably go right through it. So it's, like I say again, so to recap this, can't ask too many questions. We're going to go more into the deep dive here later, which I'm interested in because I've forgotten all of this, by the way. But no, I think I can see how questions can be beneficial because they can help you send the right product to the right person, just like that example that Chuck was saying. That doesn't mean anything to me.
Well, I think chapter 13 is going to explain a lot for us.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to start to come together, and I think once we understand it, it's going to be like, oh, okay, I'm seeing how that can work now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
chapter 13 is kind of long too, so there's a lot of meat in it.
Yeah. Dana's leading
Well, there are a
tomorrow.
lot of people in this group that like meat.
Yes. It's actually
Yes, yes.
That's what she said.
74.
Oh, Chuck.
It's from page 74 to 106.
Uh-huh.
And it's a very, very substantial, filled with substantial information. So it may take, I'm thinking 2 days, but I could be wrong. But
Yeah, because I'm thinking there's some stuff in there that's pretty technical that we really need to understand to make this system work for us.
yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
And there is one thing in here,
And I'm committed to learning it.
funnelspecialist.com. It's free marketing tips. I don't know if that link works. I'm going to try it.
Funnel specialist.
It's probably stolen again. Someone take it.
Funnelspecialist.com.
With him having so many niches, he can't keep track of his domain names. So he lost his domain name.
Yeah, but this is kind of weird.